Hi friends, hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello. So, first of all, if I am titling this video what I think I am, and I just got 3 points in categories. Hello, hi, how are you? Today's video, I want to talk about TikTok. I have some very interesting thoughts about TikTok as a platform, but also I'm scared. So TikTok, if you don't know, is a new app. If you remember Vine from back in the day, it's very similar to Vine. It's basically a short form media sharing website. So the longest video you can upload is 1 minute long. Typically the videos are made on people's phones and typically they're kind of dumb, but also some of them are hysterical. I was pretty anti-TikTok for a while, only because I only saw Charles's little sister. I only saw her TikTok account, and it was just like 12-year-olds doing 12-year-old things, and I was like, oh, that's probably just really not for me. The app obviously isn't made for me. My friends were talking about how much they loved it, and oh my god, is it addictive. It is like so addictive. You download it, and all of a sudden, it's like everything in your life is TikTok. Like, it's insane how it happens. Even my boyfriend literally gets sucked into TikToks. Like, his are all about D&D and all about puppies. Like, that's his TikTok. Mine is about like Disneyland, being social worky, like things like that. And I think it's kind of funny because the algorithm on TikToks, they seem to really understand your preferences based on your likes. One of the best statements I've heard about TikTok is when the Try Guys, who's a channel here on YouTube, it's 4 dudes, they try things. When the Try Guys tried TikTok, one of them was like, I hated it for 30 minutes and then all of a sudden it was amazing. And that's like exactly how it feels. When you first go on, you're like, why do people like this? This is so dumb. Because your For You page, we'll get to that in a second, is just kind of generic. It's catered to whoever. Then after you like a few things and you scroll past a few things and you say you're not interested in a few things, they really start to figure out what you yourself are interested in and what your niche kind of would be with TikTok. And then it's a very enjoyable experience. Some of you may say that these next few criticisms of TikTok are only because my TikToks don't go viral. And I will say that that's a travesty. No, my TikToks are horrible. I've made a couple of them just for fun, and I do enjoy making them. I actually think they're really fun to make, but like they don't do well, and I think it's because I'm not funny. Like, I'm not a good dancer. I'm not really that funny. Regardless, I still think it's a fun app and I enjoy using it, right? There is a side of TikTok that really truly terrifies me. I've seen a lot of videos being made about Charli D'Amelio, who I hope I'm saying her last name right. I think it's D'Amelio. Charli is I believe, the most followed person on TikTok, and I also believe she is one of the most like subscribed, followed social media people ever. She has more TikTok followers than Mr. Beast has YouTube subscribers. She is growing at an alarming rate. At 15 years old, Charli has 32 million followers, and that's of making this video. By the time I'm done with this, she could very easily have 33 or 34 because she is gaining about 1 million subscribers a day on TikTok. This is unheard of. The growth that she is experiencing is unlike anything else we've ever seen. And she really only started like 6 months ago. So this is all in the past 6 months. She has become a phenomenon. And on top of Charli, there's also these other really famous TikTok girls. First of all, her sister Dixie also has, I believe, almost 20 million followers. There's a girl who they're friends with named Addison who has 15 million. Charli's boyfriend, who's 17, does stress me out a little bit. Her boyfriend, who's 17, has like 14 million. There are these very famous teenagers who have millions and millions and millions of followers on TikTok, and they're doing things that are just either just goofing off. Charli is going to be the main focus in this video because she scares me the most. She stresses me out. But Charli was a dancer before she started TikTok, and she got really popular on TikTok for doing dances. Charli, I feel like, is the most extreme case because not only is she the most popular and the fastest growing, but Charli also receives the most hate. Gets a lot of hate. There's a lot. I think if you type her name into YouTube, you're going to see a lot of videos of people being very critical of her, of people mocking her and making fun of her, and just overall being not very nice. And I think what happened when she started growing so quickly and gaining so many followers so fast is I feel like people must have just forgotten that she's 15 years old because she's a young kid. And she also doesn't do anything wrong. Like, she's done literally nothing wrong. All she does is this like dance thing and then she blew up. Like, she's not a bad person. If anything, at least I do think Charlie is a decent role model for the kids who watch her. She doesn't post herself partying or getting wasted. She doesn't post anything crazy. She just posts herself drinking Dunkin' Donuts, okay? The reason I'm worried about Charlie, and if you've watched any of my other content surrounding like family vloggers or kids who are on social media, you'll probably know where this video is going. And this is something I feel very strongly about. I wish I could tell you more about what I'm doing in my real life to work on this problem, but I can't. But in my real life, I work, like in my not YouTube life, I'm currently working on, I don't know how to put this without like exposing what I'm doing or exposing myself, but I am in my real life working towards macro level change of kids on social media because I feel very passionately about this. It's one of my biggest things that I worry about. So legally, she's not an adult yet, right? And I worry about her on so many levels. And I worry about all of these kids posting on TikTok on so many levels. Even the kids who have 5 followers, I'm very worried about them. The big thing about TikTok is you cannot get on the For You page, which is how you blow up and go viral unless you have a public TikTok. Your TikTok is not private. Problem number 1, because all of these kids think that they can be the next Charlie D'Amelio. They want to be the next her. They want to be famous and, you know, have 31, 32 million TikTok followers. That's what they want. So none of them have their pages on private, and this puts kids in a pretty dangerous situation. I would wager that a very large majority of TikTokers and people who upload TikToks are younger kids and kids who are under the age of 18. And this opens you up to a whole mess of really dangerous things. I don't want to get too dark. I don't think like fear mongering is necessarily effective in a lot of cases. However, I will say that people like Charlie and people who are famous on these types of platforms are being exposed to really bad things happening, especially kids who don't have as big of a following as Charlie and whose parents might not know what their kids are doing on TikTok. There are huge cases of sex trafficking happening on social media. That's the new way that people are getting kids into sex trafficking, into labor trafficking, is through TikTok. There's grown men pretending to be young boys, talking to girls in messages, commenting on their TikToks, trying to befriend them and gain their trust, and then really bad things happen. And even past that, I think putting your child on the internet where anybody could possibly see them doing dances that in a lot of cases are very, I'll put some examples up here, but a lot of the TikTok dances are very hypersexualized and very much not age appropriate for the kids who are doing them. And Charlie's a perfect example of that. It is dangerous to have a 15-year-old wearing crop tops doing crazy dances on the internet for 32 million strangers to see. I think it's opening her up to a lot of dangers. That's just the first part of it, right? And I am worried because it does not appear that her parents particularly care. Her parents have TikToks. Go watch her parents' TikToks. Her dad is at like 2 million followers on TikTok and her mom is at like, I think 1.7, so she's on her way there. Their TikToks are very much, you know, parents who have a TikTok. It's very corny, a little, you know, cringy, a little lame. But the one TikTok that stands out to me in particular is the one of her father saying, "I am the father of Charlie and Dixie, so you're welcome, TikTok, for being their dad," basically. And it's a little unnerving and a little scary to hear a father say something like that. Like, it's a little scary to think that maybe he and the mom, based on their TikToks, it does appear that they're getting so caught up in the success of their daughters that it definitely is possible that they're not properly taking care of them. And that's kind of how I feel. Again, I am a little bit extreme when it comes to kids on social media, but it does appear that Charlie and Dixie, their parents, are not properly monitoring this whole situation. It seems like they're just riding the wave of fame and money that this is bringing them, because Charlie's been in Super Bowl ads. She got to meet J-Lo at the Super Bowl. Like, she's doing all of these brand deals. Like, Charlie is making bank right now, okay? That's the other question I have, is these TikTok kids are making pretty decent money. I mean, with that type of following, if you were to get a brand deal with those numbers and the engagement that she gets, every video Charlie does, it's a minimum of 20 million views. So the engagement that she is getting, that is worth a lot of money to brands. The brand sponsorships that she is doing, she is making so much money from, like so much money. And my question kind of becomes, where is that money going? Because legally it can't really go to her. She can't really be in charge of her own finances right now. Her parents are. And I've talked about this in other videos, so if you've seen my other videos, I'm sorry if this is repetitive, but on top of all of the other things we're talking about like security and privacy and, you know, the dangers of those types of things, on top of all of that, I always have to question when it comes to things like this, are kids having their rights met? Are they able to have rights in this situation? And the big problem is, especially in the United States, on a macro level, there are no laws or regulations put into place for kids who do social media. And we had this problem before when movies and films started becoming more and more popular, and it was more common to see kids in movies and films. They were overworked. They didn't get the pay that they were properly due because their parents were stealing all of their money from them. And there was no regulation on if they needed to be in school. None of that stuff was happening, right? So all of those kids who grew up in that era who were child actors were severely mistreated and abused and have psychological damage as a result of it. So now we have laws put in place for kids who work on movies or work on TV shows. We have laws that say you can only work 5 hours a day. You have to have this amount of schooling done. You are entitled to this amount of money put aside for you. Your parents can't touch this money. You can when you're 18, but your parents aren't allowed to touch this money, right? We have all of these things put into place to protect children, to protect their money, to protect their best interest. Because sometimes, and I'm not saying this is the case with everyone, but a lot of times parents get very sucked into the fact that their children are money makers and can a lot of times really, really abuse that. So with people like Charlie, who are young, 15, I do worry that she's being overworked, not having her rights met, none of these things, because there's no laws put into place that say that they need to be. There's nothing protecting these kids. And it bothers me to no end because I think people see people like Charlie and they hate her because she's a 15-year-old who makes a ton of money. But I don't think people see the actual true danger that lies in having your kid be so high profile on such a large platform with little to no rights. She has no rights really to anything right now. We don't know how many hours a day she's working. We don't know any of that. It stresses me out on a micro level, child to child, the kids who have 5 followers on TikTok but are potentially opening themselves to really dangerous situations. And it also stresses me out to the level of Charlie, who is just doing the renegade and maybe doesn't understand or know what is happening, right? I just feel like in 10 to 15 years, we're going to see a huge, just insurgence of family vloggers, TikTok kids, all of these kids being so upset and talking about these things, talking about the effects of having 32 million followers at 15 years old and what that psychologically does to you. I wish lawmakers, and no, I know there's bigger problems in the world, I get it, but I truly think the safety of children should be a #1 priority, and this seems like a very easy thing to regulate if we got the right people doing it. I don't know. I feel very strongly about this. I'm worried about kids on TikTok. I know it's a fun app. I have fun on the app. I have fun making TikToks, but I'm a consenting adult who knows exactly what I'm doing, and I don't think a lot of these kids are. Oh, that doesn't even get me into, now we're gonna talk about consent. Let's talk about Nick, what is it, Nick and Sienna. There's a father-daughter duo of TikTokers named Nick and Sienna. Sienna is 4, I believe, 4 or 5. She's a little girl, and her dad make TikToks together. They have 6.3 million followers. That little girl cannot consent to private moments with her father, to dances. She cannot consent to those things being posted to 6.3 million people. She cannot understand the implications of that. She can't. She cannot. It's so much different for me than child actors. These child actors, you're playing a role, right? You're playing a character, so it's a little bit different. This is her personality and her life being blasted to 6.3 million people without her consent. They're making money from some of these posts. Where's that money going? Is it going to her? There's a ton of them. There's a ton of family vlogger-esque TikTokers that are very similar to this account that just post intimate moments with their children, post their children dancing, post their children doing things, when those kids can't consent to those millions of people seeing those moments. In 10 years, is this girl at 14 gonna want videos of her doing the renegade for all of her classmates to see? I would argue probably not. I think there's an issue as a whole with social media that we're not considering, which is children on social media and them not having the proper rights and regulations that they need to safely navigate social media, so they're not being taken advantage of and other things that we've talked about. And I don't think that's happening right now. And while I do think TikTok is a fun app, I think it's fun to scroll through. I genuinely enjoy TikTok. I think there's a side of it that people are not thinking about. And I guess I wanted to get a conversation going in regards to that. See if I'm just crazy or if other people agree with me, because I truly think this is an issue. Like I said, I'm working on this in my private life, obviously, but if you see a problem with this, contact TikTok. It's not hard to just send an email and say, hey, we'd like you to have regulations put in place to protect your children creators. It wouldn't be hard for them to do, even just in a TikTok way. Would it be amazing if like the United States created laws to protect kids? Sure, but in the short term, because that type of stuff takes forever, in the short term, it would be really fantastic if TikTok could make their terms of service especially clear when it comes to children on TikTok and how they need to be protected too. Because right now these kids are not protected. I'm also not gonna make a video clowning on like the hype house or clowning on any of these kids, because they're kids at the end of the day. Like, are they making cringy stuff that I'm sure commentary channels could talk about? Sure, but they're 15. Do you want to see the videos I made with my sister on like photo booth on like our laptops when we were kids? Because they're super cringy. Like, of course some of the stuff is cringy. Of course as adults it might be easy to make fun of, but I don't think we should be. I think we should be like, hey, is Charlie D'Amelio being overworked and underpaid? Like, what's happening with that? I don't know. That's just me. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just like, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're here watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I am wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with a link to register to vote. That's right, you can click on that link, you can register to vote, and you can be part of your democracy. It's like crazy, super fun time. I love you guys so much. I hope you like this video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think about this topic down below. Contact TikTok if you feel strongly enough. I know I have and will continue to, and I will leave any information down below on how to do that to just get the process rolling of getting terms of service updated to protect these kids. So I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!